TGIF, it's Friday, May 9th, 2025. Your Day with the Podcast brought to you by ConverseCountyTourism.com. Feel the energy at Converse County. Explore Douglas's rare road heritage, Ayers Natural Bridge, and the Jackalope Legend. Glen Rock boasts scenic trails, dinosaur history, and small town charm. Plan your visit at ConverseCountyTourism.com. Well, good weather for Mom coming up. In fact, a preview there, collared lizard there posing very nicely in Fruita, Colorado. High pressure building in along the western slope of Colorado, helping to draw in that desert warmth. Since wind directions aloft are changing, that's going to bring warm air from the deserts right into the Intermountain West and the western high plains. So really, for early May, this is really going to be a quite warm summer-like weather pattern. 70s, 80s, a few 90s, as we discussed yesterday, will be found over the northern plains as downsloping conditions off the Rockies and the high pressure and desert air will be working together. There's going to be a little bit of thunderstorm activity, not a lot of it, but we'll see some thunderstorms today, just a couple Saturday. Thunderstorm activity picks up a little bit on Sunday. So it's going to be a nice weekend. We talked about some breeziness on Sunday in some areas. That'll be true, but by a lot of our wind standards, really not much going on. Now the pattern gets active again next week with two systems. One will be coming into the Pacific Northwest coast as we get into Monday. And by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, that system will spread east, bringing showers, thunderstorms, and unsettled weather. That'll be followed probably by another weather system the weekend after, the weekend of the 17th. So despite the summer-like feel to the weather you're going to have here over the next 3 or 4 days, keep in mind, this is May, so there still could be some big swings in the weather. I'm not saying we've got a big swing coming, it's just something to keep in the back of your mind because usually you don't settle into a summer pattern in early May. There's a shot for you, a beautiful shot of fresh snow there in central Colorado near Leadville from the recent systems that have come on through. And the spring snow has been pretty good in some mountain areas. Getting that late season surge of snowpack up high is really good to see. And you can see there from Cheyenne, looking down into the front range of Colorado, fresh snow gleaming very white there. Casper Mountain, still some snow on top. Nice shot there at Fort Casper. Things greening up there very nicely. Then a great shot of Mammatus clouds along the Snake River near Henry's Fork there. We had Mammatus in a lot of areas yesterday. That's some sinking air at the base of the showers and thunderstorms that give you that shape. And 'tis the season for Mammatus clouds. There'll be more of that as thunderstorms become more and more common in the days and the week ahead. This is titled War of the Worlds. I think anyone that played Space Invaders can certainly see the Space Invaders there. Well, that's just Virga, but it does look like Space Invaders, doesn't it? Near Jackson, great shot there. Now, as we look at the satellite and the surface maps, and you can see that there's really not going to be a lot going on. We have a couple of funnel boundaries up here coming out of Alberta and Saskatchewan, the Pacific Northwest, associated with this low up there, but it's not much of a factor. These fronts don't have moisture to work with, and generally speaking, high pressure is building all across the western United States. Now up in the Gulf of Alaska, there's some weather, but that's what's coming next week. There's your high, there's your Gulf of Alaska weather up there, and then the clockwise rotation around the high, drawing desert air in out of the deserts of California and Arizona and the Great Basin, pushing it into the Rockies and the high plains. Today, we will see a little bit of thunderstorm activity. And you can see the shape of this arch right here. That's basically the circulation around the high, drawing some moisture up. We did have some thunderstorms along the higher terrain late yesterday afternoon and evening in some areas. Today, the thunderstorms will shift a little more off to the terrain, a little bit more off to the east. These are garden variety thunderstorms, but they're going to be popping up this afternoon and evening, especially in the dark green and colored areas there is the preferred development area for thunderstorms. That's what it looks like on Saturday. Not much activity except up into Montana and Idaho there. Then as we get into Sunday, for Mother's Day, there's just a bit more activity. And that's going to be in response to that trough coming in from the west coast. And as we showed you yesterday, this downsloping zone from the winds aloft coming in from the southwest, really bringing in some very warm temperatures for early May into the northern plains and northern Rockies. Very comfortable temperatures elsewhere. Heating up in the deserts, as it normally does this time of year. So that's Saturday's high temperatures. These are Sunday's high temperatures. So plenty of warmth for the weekend. As we look at the wind, windy is back here in the northern Great Basin, eastern Oregon here, and that's because in advance of the low that's coming into the Pacific Northwest coast, but also getting windy out here in Nebraska and South Dakota and North Dakota. Winds picking up in Utah, southwestern Wyoming along Interstate 80 later in the day. But we're splitting hairs. It's still going to be a really nice weekend. Then we start next week with that front coming into Washington and Oregon and Northern California. That'll be a good rain producer. Showers and thunderstorms and instability will be developing out ahead of the system up here. So as we get into early next week, we'll be watching for thunderstorms. Some might even be strong early next week. We start Monday. Monday, you can see Alberta, Saskatchewan, northern Montana here. Going to see some areas of showers and thunderstorms, and then moisture drawn up ahead of the low will cause some thunderstorms there in far eastern Colorado and western Kansas and southwest Nebraska. And that goes into the day on Tuesday. So Monday, there's a response to that low already. Tuesday, there could be some strong thunderstorms across the central Dakotas into portions of Nebraska and northeastern Colorado. We'll have to keep an eye on that for some strong ones. It'll be very warm, though, right through Monday and into Tuesday until Wednesday and Thursday as that trough comes through. And there it is. As the trough comes through, beginning Wednesday morning into Thursday and Friday, we'll cool down. Showers and thunderstorms will become more widespread. Then we queue up the next low, developing by next weekend. Notice this robust high-pressure ridge developing in the eastern Pacific. If that happens, then systems will be directed into the basin and into the Rockies next weekend and probably maybe another one after that. So this weather that's coming up here over the next 4 to 5 days, probably our best segment of weather in terms of it being nice and sunny and warm for you. After that, things get more unsettled again. Have a great weekend. Have a great Mother's Day weekend, Mom. We'll see you Monday.